Hi, my name is Christian Hall and I'm on a mission to help as many people as possible overcome depression. The reason I'm on that mission is that when I was between 14 to 24, so roughly a decade, I was suffering from a severe and very deep depression. And this illness, because that's what it is, it took the joy out of my life for a decade, so I really hate depression with all my heart, and I also know that I can help people overcome depression because I've been doing that for several decades now. What I've been doing is to write several books which are basically summarizing all the research on what actually helps when you are suffering from depression and put that together in a short book. It's a structured program called 14 Steps to Happiness. It's intended for people like you to follow, and you are supposed to do this step by step. And as you progress on that ladder, on that program, if you will notice how you are actually becoming better and that your depression is becoming less and less severe, and where the periods where you are depressed are becoming more and more rare. But this introductory video is about three very important principles that you have to follow as you are progressing on the program. And the first principle is that you need to divide the work of overcoming depression, which can be just overwhelmingly big when you think about it, right? Because you are depressed, and one of the things that you lose when you are depressed is the belief that you can actually get better. So I'm going to help you with that. So the first principle is that you need to divide this big, complex work into a lot of very small steps. That's essentially how you overcome this overwhelmingness of getting out of depression. And to tell a metaphor, some decades back there was this British guy, George Meegan, and he went for the longest walk in history. There's actually another British guy right now who's about to finish an even longer walk, but let's stay with George for this little story. So George, he essentially walked from the southern tip of Chile all the way to the northern cape of Alaska, which is about 20,000 miles or 30,000 kilometers, which is insane when you think about it, to walk that distance. And of course, if you're standing on the southern tip of Chile and you're about to venture into this very, very long walk, and you are envisioning the whole distance in its entirety, you're gonna give up. But if you can take one step, if you can focus on the steps that you are taking at any time, and you just take one step after the other, suddenly you're at the northern tip of Alaska. The second principle is that you need to have extremely low ambitions on what you are going to do every time you do something to beat depression. Because again, one of the core kind of features of depression is that it takes away the belief that you can actually get better. It takes away your hope. These are all things that you have to have a certain amount of in order to be able to do the work that it takes to get out of depression. There's a standard solution to this problem, and that is you lower the threshold of what is a success until you get to the symbolic. So as you are going to be working with this 14-step program, there will be quite a lot of homework. There will be quite a lot of techniques and mitigative action that you are going to undertake in order to improve. And you will be thinking, such as, just to give an example, I will be asking you to go for walks. And if you have absolutely no energy, if you are stuck in bed, if you have, troubles even getting your shoes on, that's going to seem like a too heavy obstacle to overcome. But if you can lower the ambition of what actually is a walk to something ridiculously low or even symbolic, like taking 3 steps, then you will succeed every time you try. This might sound stupid, but I can promise you it really works. It works every time. So this is a standard solution to whenever you are about to embark on something or to do something that's just too much for you. If you just lower the ambition, then you can do it. So that's principle number 2. Just lower the ambition until you can make a success of everything that you try. The third principle is that you are going to start to change your mental habits such that you no longer beat yourself up verbally. Because if you suffer from depression, chances are that you are your own worst enemy, right? You will be saying things like you are worthless, you will never be loved, you have no friends, you've never succeeded with anything in your life. And this has to stop. It's absolutely essential that you stop beating yourself up verbally. And that's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time for you to retrain your brain. But the first step of changing this mental habit is for you to just start noticing when you are beating yourself up verbally and why. So what are the triggers that lead you to beating yourself up? So if you follow this program, you will probably be seeing more of me, and I'm just here to hold your hand and to guide you through these 14 steps. And I'm absolutely certain that if you can complete this program and if you can do some work every day or every week to help yourself, then you will transform your life. I'll see you in the next video.